Um, Thank you, guys. Thank you. You make me feel so welcome. All right. So basically, I know that a lot of you have put a lot of prayer, a lot of money, a lot of your time and resources into this trip, and so I figured you might want to hear something back about what we did over there, the purpose of our work, and maybe the effects of our work. And so I'm just going to share two quick stories with you. One is we all get into our vans. We get into vans that can hold about 14 people, I think 15 people. But we drive around Mexicali, going to churches and putting on a kids camp, VBS program, all that stuff. This year we did a bit more construction, but one very touching moment for all of us, I think, was we were crossing the border. And we were crossing the border back into America, and we had taken the whole week, done all these things, and seen that we, or hoped that we had made a difference. And some of our team members had even expressed that they were worried, like, how much of a difference do we make down there, doubting, wondering. And we get to the border crossing, and I believe it was let's just say Mrs. Hall, just to make the story work. So it was Mrs. Hall's van. I'm not sure whose van it was, but we all crossed it, this guy's little station at the border crossing, one by one. And so what happens is we get to the little booth that he's sitting in, and he talks to us for a second. He's like, "Oh, what were you guys doing in Mexico?" And we say community service, and he's like, "Oh, were you doing some mission work?" And Mrs. Hall, for the purpose of this story, says, "Yes, yeah, we were with Mexico Outreach." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I was a kid in one of your programs, that kind of planted the seed in me and led to my eventual coming to Christ." And it was a very beautiful story to hear. I wasn't in the van where it happened, but I passed at his station, which was very nice to see. And then there's this really cool officer when the cargo van got pulled over with all our stuff in the back. This guy's awesome, but we pull out into like this X-ray machine where they X-ray your van, and they're like, what have you guys, or he radios his friend looking at the X-ray screen, and he's like, "Hey, what have you guys, what do they got back there?" And he's like, "They got a whole lot of crap back there." And then he's like, "Oh, they're missionaries, man. They doing the Lord's work." And so that was very, very, very fun to be a part of also. But so there's that story. And then one other quick story I'd like to share with you is I've been going. This is my 5th year on the trip, and each year you're assigned a certain church that you're to minister at, and I have gotten really close with this one family down there because I've been assigned to their church 3 times. This is my 3rd time. I had gone my 1st and 2nd year there. They're Leonardo. I don't know his last name. I'm sorry, but the pastor's name is Leonardo, and he has 5 kids and his wife Alma and Espanol. But anyways, I'm stepping on a lot of cords here. I'm sorry, Living Stones. But we've been at his church for about 2 days, and our translator Angel expresses to me that Leonardo was telling her that his son Daniel had been wanting to learn the guitar, and so I was like, "Oh, I could give him a few lessons before we go." And so I go and try to. It was a very tedious process trying to. I had a little cheat sheet with all the Spanish words translated into English for I had to talk it out with him to figure it out. But I had to learn all the lingo for the guitar, strings, chords, notes and all that stuff. So I had to learn all the lingo from him. But after that, I started giving this boy lessons. One of my friends that I've known him for 5 years, and so I'm giving him guitar lessons. And the first day is basically just to learn the lingo, and then the next day I get to the ministry site, our church, and Leonardo tells me that Daniel, his son, is thinking of quitting school and thinking of becoming a guitarist in a band. And I say, oh, no. And so just throughout the week, I kind of hinted at it, just saying, I'm in a band, but I can still stay in school, just kind of hinting at it throughout the week. And then just this very touching moment, the moment we're leaving, I come and say to him, I've said goodbye to everyone. Lexi and Ellie are crying because they're them. But and then we had all the men in our van who weren't crying. But anyways, I come up to Daniel, and the last thing I say to him in very broken Spanish, and I don't even know if I got my message across, but I'm pretty sure I did. I basically said, please stay in school. I don't want you to not be in this. And he looks in my eyes, and he can tell that I'm really worried about him, and he just says, all right, sure thing. And so it was very, well, in Spanish, but still, it was very touching. And it was really cool to see him throughout the week. We went to a church service at the beginning of the week, and Angel told me about this. He was his friend. They're all like 13 through 15, and they're all in the service, and they're clapping. One of them is clapping, and Daniel's like, hey, don't clap, man, that's not cool. But then by the end of the week, just us being there with him, encouraging their faith, he's singing along to all the songs at the kids' camp, and he's a 13-year-old kid. That's not cool. My little brother probably wouldn't do that, but it's not cool to be a follower of Christ, rock and roll. But I don't know. It was really touching to see him later in the week get really into it, and his friends. So that's all I've got to say. I hope you enjoyed my stories.